This is my mate's C-Class Mercedes that he decided to crash into the back of a car that had a tow bar. Besides the obvious cosmetic damage, there's a bit of a hole in the intercooler. Luckily the radiator survived. So, let's get this out of the way. Now, because this was all pushed back, I've already replaced this hose which was pushed onto this, which cut a hole in it, so the water's flowing and I thought it would be okay. But then upon further inspection down here, which if I remove the grill, which is actually quite easy because it's very damaged, you can see the end of the intercooler has completely come off of the intercooler, and there you can see the hole in the front. The owner of the other vehicle was actually really nice. There was no damage to their car whatsoever and they were happy just to leave it at that. My friend doesn't want to claim on his insurance because that means his premiums will go up next year, so guess who's lumbered with fixing it? That's right, this guy. If I go start the engine, you will hear air coming out of here. So the bumper's got to come off. Oh, and if you're wondering why this crash bar is bent this way, it's because a previously attempted repair involved a forklift and a ratchet strap. And it pulled it a little bit too far. Anyway, I've got a replacement one of these. And I've got a replacement one of these. Let's get the bumper off. First things first, pop out these clip things from the inner mud guard. So you've got a thing that goes in, and then a pin that goes in the middle of it. Just pull the pin out and then the thing comes out, and there's a few of them, so I'm going to take them out both sides first. That's the plan. Once they're out, you can kind of move that out of the way, and up there somewhere up there in the mud guard, there's two what appear to be 13mm bolts, so I'm going to take them out. There we go, and for the record, they weren't 13mm, they were 10mm. Yeah. Same on the other side. Cool. Right. Right, so there's a 10mm there, and that means there'll be one on that side as well. Now, that comes off, and there's probably a few underneath. Right. Okay, that is most of the bumper off. Just held on at the bottom, plastic bit with some screws, so I have to stick my head under there and have a look, see what we can find. There's 4 of these things, and I think if I release those, then the bumper will actually come off. One. Well, in all fairness, 2 of them are broken. Do you hear that? I think I just scratched my glasses. Rude. So undo the fog lights. Right. That was easy. Actually, surprisingly easy. Okay. Now we can see the extent of the damage. So I'm hoping I can replace that crash bar, and the chassis legs are bent. And I will find out when I take it off and put the new one on, if it lines up, not bent. If it doesn't line up, bent. In which case, you won't actually see this video. So if you're watching this, I can tell you now, not bent. Right, let's find the bolts for it. It looks like, now the replacement we've got came with the bracket that this is bolted to, because looking at it, I think we're going to need to replace these brackets that this bar bolts onto at the same time, because that might be slightly bent. It might not be. I'll compare it with the replacement. So I'm going to pop this. I'm going to take these out and pop this bar off to start with, and then see where we're at. Don't make me take the headlight out to undo that. That's annoying. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to undo the headlight because I can see the ends of the bolts there. They're really long. Okay, headlight up. Does that come out? That comes out by removing this plastic piece of trim and undoing some more 10mm bolts. So this headlight has, well, come away from its mounting screw somehow. That's not part of it anymore. So, yeah. Which means this wing is probably a bit bent out of shape. I'm not too worried about that at the minute. I'm more interested in getting this intercooler replaced so I can get the engine running properly, and then it can go for its MOT, which I think has just run out. Headlight can be unplugged. Need a screwdriver. Yeah. Right. Bolts removed. Connector removed. So, with the headlights removed, I can see, even though that looks folded, it's supposed to kind of look like that because the replacement looks like that, and this side looks exactly the same. So I think hopefully they're straight. If not, we'll find out when I unbolt this from it, which I'm going to do now. And while you're waiting for me to do this, why don't you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. And you know what else would massively help me and the channel out? If you give us a thumbs up. Come on, do it now. With 3 more bolts to go. You've got plenty of time. I'm actually being a bit premature. I'm being a bit premature with taking these bolts out. Oh, that's just spinning around. Because there's a crash sensor I've just noticed on the back of there, and there's a couple of other things bolted to this piece of metal. Take the bolts out anyway. Oh. There's a crash sensor here which needs removing. There's one on the other side which I've already removed. Sorry I didn't show you that. It's just a 10mm in there. I'm going to disconnect these without unplugging them because I don't want to upset the commutator. There we go, looks like that. And then there's a horn here, also one on the other side, which again I've already disconnected. I've lost my spanner. Where's my little spanner? Found it. Right, so there's a bracket here which is holding the horn and gubbins on. A couple of more 10mm bolts. Yes, it is raining. I am getting slightly wet. It is what it is. You say you do something for a friend, you do it. Even if it means a late night and getting wet. Okay, so the bolt for the horn is actually on the back. What I'm removing here is a bracket which is just, I don't know, not holding much on, to be honest. There's the bracket for the horn. Pop that off. Tell you what, all these bolts and nuts and stuff are coming off very easily. It's quite nice, makes a change. Normally I'm used to working with rusty stuff. This is just bent stuff. And now just those 2 big bolts in there. And I think that's everything that's attached to it. You're stuck. You're stuck. 2 big bolts and a bracket. 2 big bolts and... oh, missed a couple there. Ooh, Tesla. Very nice, very nice. Right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that fell out. Bang. Right. That is 1 crumple zone. There we go. Good as new. Put it back on. Job done. The new one has these bits attached to it. Now, I'm going to take this off of here and see if this lines up. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be tricky doing this on the floor, isn't it, without attached to anything. Oh gosh. Now, does this line up with this? Slightly not. This is slightly the bended. It's off by about that much, which is quite a lot. So if you look on the left, it's kind of lined up with the dirty marks where the old one was. The one on the right is not, so this is not in the right position. So I'm going to change it. And to do that, I've somehow got to get to those bolts in there, which means probably moving the washer bottle out the way to get to them. Oh, never easy, is it? It's absolutely just started bucketing it down. I don't have room in this unit to bring a car in, so I'm going to call it quits for today. With the washer bottle removed and unplugged and moved up there, I had to remove this bracket as well to get it out. I can now get to these two big bolts that are holding in this bit here, which is suspected to be bent. Right, so I'll undo those, pull that out, put the new one in, do the bolts back up, and then see if that crash bar lines up. I got the old one out, and there was actually an additional 8mm bolt in there as well, which took me a while to figure out. I was like, why isn't this coming out? Wriggle, 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 wriggle. In goes the new one. Hopefully. Doesn't feel like it fits. Might need a tappy tappy. Got it in, it just needed a wriggle in the right direction. Didn't need a tappy tappy in the end. So that's in. Pop the two bolts back in the side. Do them up. And then hopefully it'll line up. Let's find out. So this side I've slotted into place. Unfortunately, it's still off. So this one needs replacing as well, because this has obviously got a slight bend in it. Now it is about half of where it was before I replaced the other one, which would suggest that they both bent in equally. So replacing them both should hopefully make them both line up. I'll give it a go. Do it now. Yep. So this is good. So line that side up. Perfectly lined up. Line that side up. Perfectly, almost perfectly lined up. So there we have it, perfectly lined up. So I'm not going to bolt that on there yet because I need to replace this intercooler. So as you can see, there is a big problem with this. Well, two big problems, one there and one there, where that's completely come away from there. So to get this off, I think I'm going to remove the hoses first, one at each end. Yeah, and then have an investigate. Now it looks like it's hooked in there somehow. There's a couple of clips on the top. See how we go. Undo what I can see, and then hopefully it will come off quite easily. Famous last words. So if we have a look at the new intercooler, or charge cooler, or whatever you want to call it, it's only, so the plastic trim clips in there, which I've unclipped. Now the only thing holding it in is a spring kind of clip here, yeah, and a locating bit here. Now with the right hand side, I've used a bit of brute force to get, well, basically this was already detached from the end of the intercooler, so I broke it off, which has loosened up the whole thing. Now I'm just going to release the clip under the bottom. I've taken the two hoses off, and I'm hoping I might, well, I think I'm going to have to move this out of the way. I'm hoping I can just kind of like, you know, persuade it and then get it off. Let's get it off. What was that? Persuader. Yeah, right. I know that. Yeah, it was. You're like, well, you haven't got it out yet, but the clip released, which means it should come out. Now getting the replacement is going to be a bit tricky because I need to, well, probably, you know, not break it while I put it in. And as you can see, I kind of broke that one trying to get it out, so just have to be careful. That is the sound of a clip going in the right place. Oh, there, the sound of the second clip. Excellent. Right, now I just put the hoses back on, clip this piece of plastic back in, and then assembly is reversal of removal, right? Right, both hoses are back on, intercooler is back in. I'm just gonna see if we fix the boost leak. That sounded like the boost pipe came off. I noticed the ends of the intercooler on the old one have a lip there. For some reason this one doesn't. It's got a different type of fitting on it, even though it came from the same car of the same age. Well, the part number was the same. So I'm going to try and pull the hose further over so that it's got something for the Jubilee clip to bite into. Okay, right, try that then. Take 2. Right, here's the plan. 2 Jubilee clips. So I'm going to go push that over there like that. Jubilee clip. Jubilee. Hose clip, hose clamp, whatever you want to call it. One there, and then one there. And hopefully that'll hold it in place. Let's try it. There we go. I reckon that's going to be alright. Right, it's time to test it. I don't know if you noticed, but it's sunny now because it's a different day. Okay, so headlights are back in, crash bar's back in. I've bolted the horn and the crash sensor around the back, this bracket, same on this side. Now, obviously the bracket on this headlight is broken, so I'm hoping they'll be able to adjust the headlight to the right position without needing to replace the headlight. If we need to replace the headlight, I'll do that at a later date for him. The other one's okay. It will probably need adjusting because I probably haven't put it back in exactly the same place, but that's something that they can do at the MOT station. So the intercooler's in, clamped, working. All I've got to do now is put the front bumper back on, not forgetting to plug the fog lights in, which is something I've done before, and you have to take it all off again to do it, but hey, cool. So happy days. I'll crack on with that, get the bumper on, and then, well, then my job's done. And there we have it. I know it's not perfect, and this headlight is almost certainly going to need replacing, but I can do that without taking the bumper off. So when he takes it for its MOT, we'll know what else it might need to get it back on the road. At the end of the day, I just did this as a favour for a friend. I know it's not perfect. Now, as you know, my channel is all about honesty. It's all back together. And I have these 2 bolts. Not sure where they came from. Obviously, it's just finished raining as I've just finished the car. And as a final update on this, it's about a week later, and I'm pleased to tell you that the car has now passed its MOT. It didn't need a new headlight for the MOT. However, I've ordered one and I'm going to change that for him at some point anyway. I'm guessing the headlight angle on the MOT was actually okay for the MOT. You know what I mean. Anyway, it's passed. He's happy. I'm happy. I'll order a new headlight, swap that out for him. Finished. If you enjoyed watching this and you haven't done so already, then hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers!
Never really know